Yes, well, thank you very much, Jenna. As you said, 12 Super League clubs, 9 voted in favour, 2 against and 1 abstention. I'm delighted to say we're joined by one of the 9 that went for 14 teams from season 2026, Karl Fitzpatrick, CEO of the Warrington Wolves. Thanks very much for joining us. As I'm sure you can be well aware of, you are well aware of and can understand, as Jenna said, there's a lot of questions out there, a lot of people scratching their heads. Why 14? Why 2026? This seems to have snuck up on us on Monday.
Yeah, well, first of all, Brian, thanks for having me on the guest tonight, and happy to answer any questions that you may throw at me. I think, first of all, it's important to state our position with the 14 teams. We made this clear in the meeting, as did others to be fair.
This is the Warrington Wolves.
This is mine and the Warrington Wolves. First of all, we wasn't going to die on the hill of 14 teams. Whether we have 10, whether we have 12, whether we have 14, 16, 18, whatever the league composition looks like, we don't think it's a silver bullet, as do many in that room as well. Okay, we believe, the importance of PR, promotion, marketing the sport. Okay, of course the league composition needs to be considered, and it was a healthy debate for 3+ hours, and they arrived at the conclusion in the room that 14 teams on balance is probably the best way to go forward. Okay, why do we believe that? As I say, we wasn't driving that through. We was quite balanced on it, but the removal of the loot fixtures was a big one for us. Okay, we consult with supporters, and most supporters are not fans of the loot fixtures. Also, competition integrity as well. So those are the 2 big factors from our perspective.
I've heard loot fixtures a lot. We've had loot fixtures since 1999. There's been multiple opportunities through various iterations of league structures to get rid of loot fixtures. Why this year?
Absolutely.
1999.
Super League has been going for 20 years, and I've made this point. And we've had 10 different iterations of Super League. So again, labouring the point here, 14, is not going to solve all our problems. But in consultation, and the IMG, also, the analysis of the survey with the supporters, also highlighted that there's supporter fatigue. If you draw a certain corp or a team in the playoff, you end up playing 5 or 6 times, and supporters don't want that.
That's been the case for 25 years, is my point. You've never been driven to change it before.
Yeah, and now we're making a decision to do so. And also, this is just the start of the strategic review. Okay? The 40 teams is the first point. Okay? It's now what happens after that is probably the most important thing.
Okay. You've decided to go to 14, 12 through the IMG system of grading, 2 through a commission, a group, a committee that will decide on the final 2. And Sam, this is something that you're querying.
Yeah, I think my question is why is it one set of rules for 12 teams and another set of rules for 2? Like, it wasn't even 12 months ago that the only way to play in this league was through an IMG grading system. So are we saying the grading system doesn't work? The fact that 2 teams can get in without being part of that?
So look, I'm not going to defend either the process, but I'm just going to give a bit of context and a bit of background on why this decision was arrived at. So of course we have the IMG grading criteria, which determined the top 12 clubs. However, during this tenure, during this period, we've seen what's happened at Salford. Okay, so therefore the financial element of the IMG grading criteria is probably not thorough enough. Okay, therefore we hope that this panel that is chaired by Lord Jonathan Kane is able to wash out any kind of financial concerns they have with any club that applies. So that's the kind of background and the context why those 2 clubs, and look, those clubs may not be successful, we need to be aware of that. If Lord Kane and his panel believe that, there's not, the 2 clubs are not able to bring value to the Super League competition, or they're not financially sustainable, they won't come up.
You'll be picking me off the ground if there's not 14 clubs in Super League in 2026. Jody.
Look, Karl, simply put, do you believe the competition will be better next year with 14 teams? We're saying we've got issues with Salford this year. We saw a bit of a blowout score last year. Quality of players and standard of players, do you believe the competition will be better with the 14 teams next year?
I'm going to ask you a question, Jody. Do you like loot fixtures?
Not particularly. Loot fixtures aren't necessarily up there for me, but also blowout scores aren't the most entertaining either, and that could be something we see with the addition of other teams being brought in at a late stage as well.
Possibly, but I'm going to challenge on the Salford situation. I doubt that the two teams that do come up will be as weak as the current Salford side. That's an academy side, not spending anywhere near to the cap.
Well,
again,
it will be if you only give them half the central distribution. You're going a long way towards pushing them towards Salford, closer to Salford than Warrington.
Yeah, look, I don't have sight of that distribution that those two teams will get.
It won't be full distribution.
I'm not too sure on the terms and conditions which they will come in, but again, the panel and Lord Kane will flush that out. If they don't think that, and it's more than it's the ownership. It's the ownership model. If they've not got the ownership model that's able to, in theory, bankroll those two clubs, they won't come in.
Okay. I'm thinking of these ones here in this stand, and all the other ones that are watching at home. The ones that have gone with you, the club owners. And I know you haven't been, you're not a club owner, you haven't been in your position for 25 years. I understand all that. But they've said, go with us. We've got an idea. We'll go to 12-team competition. No, we'll go 14. No, we'll go back to 12. No, we'll go to Super 8s. No, we'll do some licensing for 2 years. Let's get rid of licensing. Let's go and sign a 12-year agreement with IMG. And let's, after 1 year of that agreement, go very, very close, and it's yet to be seen what happens with it. Let's go very, very close to ripping it up. Is it fair for all of them to say that as a collective, the club owners don't appear to know what they are doing?
Look, Brian, and I understand that, and it's a very valid point. But one of the reasons, and probably the primary reason, that we are going in this direction of travel, because we've consulted all of these around here, and they're telling us by the numbers that's showing up at Luke games, we do not want this, and therefore we are making that change. Any business, any business, doesn't have to be in sport, if there requires change to improve it. And what was presented to us on that in that meeting on Monday, and the healthy debate, and the executive presented that this will improve Super League, and therefore we make that change in 2026, not 2027.
Well, thank you very much for your time. Final one, will we have many more Mondays like we've just had between now and the delivery of the final strategic review report, the Wood Review report?
I hope so, because it creates fantastic narrative.
Karl Fitzpatrick, CEO of the Warrington Wolves, thank you very, very much for your time. I hope we get you on again in the future.